Hello and welcome along to the Bunch of Punts Betting Podcast, your specialist show for football long shot bets. Matthew, how are you doing?
I'm brilliant, mate. Yeah, not as good as you, I imagine, with your winners at Cheltenham, but yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I went to Cheltenham Wednesday. First time I've been, it was really good. I was just saying, it was like lowest attendance has been in a long time. So queuing were easy, getting your bets on were easy. Just a cracking day. But we've missed a trick, haven't we?
Oh, mate, I was gutted because I don't know anything about horses really, but so I get my mate Matt or Boydie to send me horses or Tip King bets, obviously. So I got sent Jazzy Matty because obviously my name, and then someone else said, two Bloom horses were racing, Bunting and I can't even pronounce the other one. So I had a little Trixie, a little Bloom horse double. I missed a trick. I didn't realise there was a horse called Jimmy running. So Jimmy ran and won at 16s, and then Jazzy Matty ran and won at 8. It was like over 100 to 1 the double. We like it was written in the stars to have a bunch of punts double, and we didn't do it. None of us clocked onto it, so we missed a massive trick there.
Absolute killer. Yeah. Midweek when okay. Well, not okay. I did have a single winner. The Pod Yankee, a couple of voids, one Dembele scored, and Mbappe didn't. So we got like 0.89 of a point back from a point stake, but embarrassing, really. I can't believe Mbappe didn't take a fucking pen.
I don't know why he didn't. Vinny's ego's too big, I think.
I know, and he won it. I thought, well, maybe Vinny won it, but then when I was watching back, he didn't even win it.
He did fuck all that game as well.
Sickening. But we've got loads of bets this week. Non-league nerds, EFL, plenty in the Premier League. We've got a Pod Yankee result four teams, and it's 85 to 1, and all four picks we were in complete agreement with. So that's exciting. And straight after the intro music finishes, we've got a pretty exciting announcement as well. So we'll get straight into it. So the announcement, we've got a little bit of a partnership. Matthew, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so StatsHub.com have got in contact and want to kindly sponsor the show. And we haven't sold our soul, don't worry. They're a brilliant website, and we said we'd only accept a sponsorship or partnership for a company or a website that sort of align with us. We know they're legit. So yeah, Stats are brilliant. It's my go-to for player, team stats, and even referee data. It's still in the works. It's still not fully complete, but it's getting there. It's got a lot of coverage already. It will soon have every league available where Bet365 offer player markets such as shots, fouls, cards, check stats for all of that. It's just perfect time to exploit it with Bet365 offering all the new markets, including Super Sub, which is now live on the website, which a big help. You can toggle between a player's stats. So say, for example, Welbeck averages 2 shots per game. You can toggle it to see what the Super Sub, say for example, Pedro comes on and has 2 shots. You can toggle it. So that's very useful with your with your bets. And what I find really cool, probably my favourite feature, is the odds integration. So when you're checking a player's stats, for example, you see Welbeck averages, you see he has 2, 3, 4, and it will show you his odds for each to hit each one. So it saves you toggling between 365 and the stats website. So it's sort of all there in one place. They've got XG, heat maps, all the leagues, and they're kindly adding National League XG and heat maps for us. So it's going to take our long shot punting to a new level. So yeah, we're really excited to announce the partnership with StatsHub.
Yeah, it is exciting stuff, and I'm going to be honest, I'd never heard of it before you told me about it, that they wanted to sponsor it. So I'd never used it before, and it is really, really convenient because every single stats website I use at the minute is a stats website, but this one, you know Micah better than me, but he's an avid punter, and he's obviously built this site with punting in mind. And as you say, the odds on a stats website with the bets in mind is such a good feature, and it's a great site, and it's going to be nice because it's just sort of launching, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
It's not been
yeah.
out long.
But
Um,
I've been helping testing it for a while. Like I've been, so it's sort of like Macca's is his website. He's built it from scratch really with the developers, and then as it's been developing, I've had calls with him and a lot of communication with him about what us fellow punters would like. So it's sort of, and he's been in contact with a lot of other big punters as well. So it's sort of a website built. Obviously, Macca and his developers have built it, but sort of built by the betting community in terms of he's taken on a lot of feedback and he's adding stuff we want to see. So I think it's the perfect website for us.
Yeah, Matthew said as well at the top that we'd not sell our souls for
No.
a sponsorship. This is a labour of love, this show, and we're not pushing anything. We just wanted to share this product that we are genuinely so excited about. I know that you just said you played a major part in the development of the product, and it does look like a cracking tool for betting. So yeah, please check it out. And we've built actually what have we built? We built a prop Trixie.
Yeah,
For the
a
show.
new feature we're gonna try to do every week. We won't force a bets if there's nothing there, but with this announcement plus Bet365 adding super sub, so your bets basically you're not done by a half time substitution or something. We think it's a perfect time to exploit the prop market a bit more. So yeah, we've come up with a Stats Hub Street Trixie, or we'll vary it every week, but this week is a Stats Hub Street Trixie with three different games. Yeah.
Yeah, shall we get into it then? The
Yeah.
StatSub Street Trixie,
Should
or
we start with that? Yeah, we might as well actually, whilst we're on the topic
well,
of
we're on the
it.
topic.
Yeah, so it is 213s, I think. I think you've got it
Yeah,
written down somewhere. Yeah. So I've got two selections in it. Jimmy's got one. So I'll start with my two. I've got Minter two tackles. No, Minter three tackles and Rutter two tackles at fives. Um, Minter plays almost as a wing back and loves tracking back. With since Forest, Brighton have sort of changed formation a bit. Obviously, I know that through watching Brighton, but again, you can see that on StatSub with the heat maps. Since Forest, he's had three tackles, 4, 5, 1, 7, 3, 3. So the exception he hasn't hit three was Southampton, who are shit. But that's with super sub, by the way. And the sub is most likely going to be Solly March, who comes on, just coming back from injury. Defensive winger. He's had one tackle in 19 minutes against Norwich, three tackles in 21 against United, one in 30 minutes versus Newcastle, and one in 14 versus Fulham. Likely to double up against Vardio and Doku. So I see Minter getting 65 minutes, getting two tackles. March coming on to do the defensive work. Rutter again since the formation change has hit 2, 3, 2, 4 tackles. Again, very hard working player. If Brighton are holding on to the lead, it wouldn't surprise me to see Gomez or Ayari subbed on for him again, which sort of boosts it. So yeah, that's the first bit of the Trixie. Next one is Enciso two shots on target and Philogene to have a shot on target. Enciso is a no-brainer for me every week. He had 6 shots and 2 on target versus Southampton on debut. Had a shot on target before being injured after 17 minutes at Villa. He had 4 shots and 2 on target at Palace in his return in 75 minutes. He's averaging 5.81 shots and 3 shots on target per 90 this season, so no brainer for me. And Philogene is brilliant for it. Averaged 3.72 shots and 1.28 on target last season per 90 for Hull. This season for Ipswich, he blanked at Anfield on his debut, but then since then he's had 3 shots and 3 on target away at Cov, 4 shots at home to Spurs, and 4 shots, 3 on target at Old Trafford, and 3 shots, 3 on target at Palace. So both of them are hammering shots, and at home to Forest, they do give up quite a few shots away from home. I think, yeah, you're getting very nice odds for Ipswich players. And then leads us on to your part of the Trixie.
yeah. QPR Leeds early kickoff in the Championship, and I'm going two of the QPR back forward to have a shot. Ronnie Edwards and Jimmy Dunn. It's at 4.5, so 7-2 on the 365 bet builder. Super sub don't really come into play with this one, but it's a nice security blanket to have in case there is any injuries. But these two players, Jimmy Dunn, I'm just looking on StatSub now, he's averaging 1.3 shots per 90. He had 1 in his last game, 2 in the game before that, 2 in the game before that, 1 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 in the game before that. In fact, you'd have to go back to Hull on the 21st of January to the last game that Jimmy Dunn hasn't had a shot. But every other game since the turn of the year. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 11 of his last 12 appearances, he's had at least one shot. He's a shot machine. He scored 5 goals, second most for his team. We don't need him to score, we just need to have one shot. Ronnie Edwards, I think he started 11 games since joining from Southampton on loan in January. He's had a shot in 9. He's had 2 or more on 2 occasions. So, again, we only need him to have one shot. And the thing is, Leeds don't concede many. They're the second best defensive outfit in the league. But of the last 15 goals, 7 have come from set-piece situations, 30% of their overall total. And it's got to stem from Meslier in between the sticks. He's just a walking mistake, bless him. He needs to be taken out of the firing line. I don't know why he's still playing. But, so I just think teams are noticing that. They obviously are aware of the dodgy keeper, and it looks like an avenue they're looking to exploit.
It's a tight pitch at Loftus Road as well, isn't it? It's like you went the other week. It's like you're proper, and I think it's not the best atmosphere at Loftus Road, but I think a big game like Leeds, no one likes to admit it, but everyone in the Championship Cup final was Leeds at home, and I think it will be a very big, strong atmosphere, and I think that'll be QPR's way in, sort of force corners, get players on Melia, and I think that's a real avenue to explore.
Yeah, definitely. It's so tight. You can where we was in the upper tier, but behind one of goals, we were up towards the front, but it's that tight. You can see like the tops of players' heads. You know what I mean? Even from up on the second tier. But centre back goals: Danny Bath, Harry Darling, Daniel Furlong, and Japhet Tanganga have all scored against Leeds this season, and against Millwall in midweek. The Lions only had 4 shots, but Jake Cooper had 2 and Tanganga had the other one. So the centre backs had 3 of their side's 4 shots, and this bet clicked then. So I think it's an avenue worth exploring, and then that takes us back to the Premier League for the final leg of the Trixie.
No, I've done all 3 already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I've done the 2 before, and then you've done it. Yeah, we have a point total on the Trixie, so 0.25 times 4, obviously, so point total on the Trixie. So if 2 selections bank, we're in good profit.
Yep, a cool 212 to 1 with 365. So that's been the first trip down STATSHUB Street. Is that what we're calling it?
I think so. I think it's got a ring to it.
Yeah, a product we both love, and we'll be using their tools to bring you some sort of selection every week at the top of the show, and it's going to be props related. So again, a slice of something different. Non-league nerds, then you've got a few selections as ever from the non-league divisions in England. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so the midweek show only had 1 selection, and it was Linney to score, but that was void because he didn't play. I've looked deeper in National League North, South, those other leagues I touch. It's tricky slate, or there's too many heavy favourites, so it's hard to find a selection below the National League. I did like Worthing win and both teams score, shock, but Worthing have been absolutely smashed in to the point where Hemel Hempstead are 6s to win, and I was tempted to have that in because that's far too big, even though Worthing have been in good form, but because it's against my team I left it. So I've gone for just 3 in the National League. I've gone Altringham to beat Aldershot and both teams to score at 3.6. Altringham have seen both teams score in the last 3 home games. It's not ideal, but they've lost 3 of their last 4, which has seen them drop out of the playoffs. So the pressure is on, but I think they thrive under the pressure. They've only lost twice at home and boast a really strong home record. Again, this doesn't help my case, but Aldershot are unbeaten in 4, which has seen them move 5 clear of relegation. But all 4 were home games. Only Fylde and Basement Boys Ebbsfleet, who have only got 14 points, have worse away records, and both teams' scorers landed in 12 out of 16 away games. So I think a nice way in there. Altrincham win and both teams score at 3.6. Then similar, I've gone Tamworth win and both teams score at 5.5. I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago, I mentioned about Dagenham and wanting to back them for relegation when they're like 14th, slid down the league. They're now 1 place above relegation, I think. Still haven't won under their new manager, Lewis Young, all for 12 league games. Their only win in 2025 was on New Year's Day at Ebbsfleet with just 14 points. The club are a shambles on and off the pitch. They're calling for the technical director to go, the manager to go. They've just brought in Michael Hector. I don't know if you remember him, the old Fulham, Reading. Brought him in, but then sort of, have you seen that new Ballers League thing on Sky?
Yes.
He's fucking in the draft for that. So Dagenham fans are fuming at that. He's just signed and fucked off to the Ballers League. So he's not like, that's not the sort of player. I can understand why players go to the Ballers League because it's more money, exposure, but that's not the sort of player you want in a relegation battle. So all's not right at the club, and the opposites for Tamworth. They're 7 off the playoffs, so got an outside chance, but they've played way more than anyone. So it's going to take something miraculous for them to get the players, but they're not going to go down. So I just think you've had back-to-back promotions against the radar both seasons. They're expected bottom half in both leagues, and they're expected relegation this year. 7 points off the playoffs. You're basically going to have to win basically every game considering you've played way more. You're just going to have a pop. You're not going to give a shit. Like, there's no difference between coming 12th and 18th really. So I just think shackles are off, and I think Andy Peach is just going to go for it. They're a nasty team to play against, and we've seen it in the last few weeks. Both teams' scores now landed in the last 9, and they've lost just one of these. So, as I said, nothing to lose. Dagenham got everything to lose. So I think the onus is on Tamworth. They're gonna come. You've got the Tommy Tonks throw. Tamworth will come, be nasty, and yeah, if a draw does nothing for Tamworth, you might as well win and sort of throw the cat among the pigeons, put a bit of pressure on Rochdale, Altringham. So I think 5.5 for Tamworth winning both teams score looks a lovely bet. And then my favourite of the non-league ones, I do it basically every week, but is a joke for price every week. Ollie Pearce's score and score at brace, 3.1 for the goal and brace at 15, which I'm having a half a point on. And that's York versus Yeovil. Yeovil are another team like Dagenham in sort of free fall. There's not 1 in 4 with 11 goals conceded in the time. Fans are turning on Cooper, and they were singing "Your football is shit" during the 3-0 loss at Boston. Like, the more vocal fan base were singing it, and then sort of the happy clappers among the fan base also stood up and applauded that chant. So it's got the whole ground turning on him. They did get promoted last year and are 14th in the league, so it doesn't look that bad, but they had a strong start to the season and just falling off a cliff. They not really got much ambition. They would be banging trouble if it went for the early season form. York won't win the league now because Barnet have pissing it, but they're still strong. Pearce is the top goal scorer in the league with 22 and will want the golden boot. He hasn't scored in his last 2 since a hot streak, so he's due a goal. Also, I don't take much into head to head or stuff like that, but when he was at Worthing last year, Worthing went to Hewis Park to play Yeovil in April, I think it was, and he scored a brace and a 3-1 win for Worthing. So he's scored a brace last visit to the ground, and in the reverse fixture at Woodside Road he scored. So he's got 3-2 last season against Yeovil, so he's got history of scoring against Yeovil. He's going to want a few to sort of cement his shout for golden boot. So I think it's a lovely price to score at 3.1 and brace at 15s.
Yeah, lovely stuff. And head-to-heads is bollocks generally, unless managers are the same, like derbies, I think. But most importantly, goal scorers, they definitely like playing at certain grounds, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the same manager. Same manager Yeovil had last season. It was the same manager when like Pearce was playing under Hinchelwood, obviously at Worthing, and now York. It weren't in April, but yeah, Pearce has already been there last season, scored a brace, and he scored in the reverse fixture. He scored a hat trick in the reverse fixture this season in a 4-0. So he's got 6 in his last 3 against Yeovil. So he's proper keen to play him.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Plenty to go at then in the non-league, and that's everything for non-league nerds.
Don't think it has it?
This will not be beaten. 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 It's going to get beaten.
Right, Naps, best selections and all of that good stuff coming up. I've got to be honest, I found it a really, really tough slate to just to have loads of bets like we usually do. So I've actually only got bets from 3 games this weekend. So do you want to kick us off, because you've got loads more than me?
Yeah, I was saying the exact same. So I was doing my Paddy Power column, and I've got to do 3 p.m. kickoffs only. and I was looking, I was like, fuck it, it's a proper. It was like either there's too many short favourites or there's too many pick'ems. There's not much to decide. So it's proper tough. So I've only got one win in the EFL, and it's Wrexham to beat Wycombe at 3.6, which was a main standout for me. So I was dead keen on it anyway, and I was watching the Sporting Life Acca last night. I can't remember which one of you said it, but Wycombe's attacking metrics under Dodds. So Wycombe have got the most goals in the league, but their attacking metrics under Dodds puts them mid-table since he's come in. And defensively, they're very solid under Dodds as well. I just think, and Wrexham have the second best away defensive record in the league, other than Birmingham. The sides are only separated by goal difference, yet Wrexham are big underdogs purely because they're playing away. But based on if guns to my head, I think it's a draw, which sounds stupid considering I'm backing Wrexham win. But I just think it's a value play. When else, other than probably if they play Birmingham, I don't know if they've already played Birmingham away, but when else are you going to get Wrexham at 3.6 to win a game? The only thing that tips it in Wycombe's favour is at home. I don't think there's a lot to separate them in terms of ability, and I just think it's going to be a low margin game that will come down to experience or a set piece. And Wrexham are sort of teaming with players like that. They've got Cleworth, players like that, Fletcher with experience, all good at set pieces. So I think Wrexham do the low margin stuff, if that makes sense. Do the low margin stuff better than Wycombe. And I think if it turns into a nasty game, a bit of scrap, I think Wrexham have enough to sort of come out with a win from it. And then I'll just do the other EFL that I've got.
Just quickly, Wrexham are 3.6, aren't they?
Yeah.
Went off the exact same price at Stockport, and at Birmingham back in September, they were just over 3-1. So what you were saying is exactly true. This is too big of a price. Yeah,
and I just think value play. So I've got that one, and then I've got a few Prem, but I'll just do my last EFL pick before we get on to the rest of the show. So I've got Derby Plymouth. I've done a little second half card ladder. Over one second half card each at 5s, 5.5, 1 point on that. Over two second half card each at 29s, 0.25 points on that. And then 0.25 points, and over three second half card each at 201. The ref ain't the best. I can't remember who it was. I sort of looked at the ref, looked at his stats, and sort of dismissed it. I was like, it's not the sort of game I'm that arsed about the ref. I think the occasion outweighs the referee. Plymouth and Derby both won midweek, and it sort of opened up possibilities of survival for Plymouth. Plymouth thought they were dead and buried, but now all of a sudden they look at it, a winnable home game against Derby, and they're right back in it. And Derby dropped back down. 2 each in the second half landed midweek at Pompey. Their last home game that was similar to this, at home to Cardiff, where both fighting for it, that was 4 each in the second half. So again, they got history for it. 2 each second half was landed recently for Derby versus Blackburn. I think it's a must. It's not like, I think both teams will look at it and be like, it's their most winnable game left of the season. So it's sort of a mentality thing. Normally you take a point, but I think this stage of the season they'll both look at their fixtures and be like, this is a one game, winning will sort of send a message to the rest of the relegation zone. And I think neither team will settle for a point. So I think, especially late in the second half, if one team's winning, I think I can see a few head going, a few bit of shit housing. So I think it is prime for second half cards, and no matter who the ref is, I think if it balls over, any ref's going to book someone. So it's one you've got to take advantage of the shit ref and the big prices on demand. So yeah, 2 second half cardi at 5.5, 3 each at 29s for 0.25 points, and 4 each at 200s for 0.25 points.
Lovely stuff. I'll take us back to the start. Well, actually, it's not. There's a game Friday night in the Championship, but one of the first two games in the Championship, Saturday lunchtime, QPR against Leeds. We'll talk about that before we head over to the Steel City Derby on Sunday, because we've got a couple more bets there. But QPR against Leeds, I'm actually got a punt. It's just a pure punt. You can't really justify it with much reasoning, but it's Leeds to win from behind at 10-1. Point on that with Bet Victor, and I think it's only a point shorter everywhere else where you can back it. But QPR are good at home, especially recently. I think they've won 7 of the last 9 in the league. They only lost to the 2 Sheffield clubs, but as you said, I was at the United game, and perhaps that should have been a draw, as so many of the Blades games that we've ended up winning. It should have been draws probably, but QPR were impressive at that. They've been impressive at home for some time now, and Leeds have actually, if anything was going to let down their title chances, it'd probably be their away form. They're not bad on the road performance-wise. In fact, they're brilliant, but recently they dropped points in 3 of the last 6 on the travels, and there's just something that happens to them away from home. I can't tell you what it is, but it's been happening ever since Farker was in charge. But I just think they'll have too much to win this game. They're on telly all the time, and they just kill teams with possession and territory. Like, they've got the what do you call them? The fullbacks play as wingers. They've got like 4 bodies across the front line at all times. And even though teams can set out in a low block and pick them off and maybe get a goal first, as has happened in 3 of Leeds' last 5 games, Leeds ultimately are just too fit and too much quality to lose games. So I think 10-1. Leeds are about 1-2, I think, to win this game. You can get them 10-1 to win from behind. I think it's an avenue I'm going to look at getting on side when Leeds are away from home, as we're on the home straight, as pressure ramps up, and we have got a nice title race on our hands. So Leeds to win from behind looks like a good system to try out for the next few weeks. I also talked about it in when we went down STATSHUB Street. Centre backs against Leeds, like, they don't concede many, but with Melier in the net, I think it's definitely an avenue teams need to be exploring. And some bets in mind for this is Ronnie Edwards, 2 shots, 8-1, Bet365 point on that. As I said, he's had 2 or more in 2 of 11 starts. He's having at least 1 shot in all bar 2 of his starts as well. So he should get a run for our money here. And along similar lines, Jimmy Dunn to score any time at 16-1 Sky Bet, and Ronnie Edwards to score any time at 40-1 with Sky Bet. Half a point on each of them. I mentioned it down StatSub Street. Jimmy Dunn's got 5 goals this season. Great goals per 90 average return. He's just a goal-scoring centre-back. Ronnie Edwards has 1 in 11 starts. So I think these 2 players are worth a punt. I think I mentioned it as well earlier on in the show that a few centre-backs have got goals against Leeds recently. Danny Bath. Who else is it? Harry Darling at Swansea. Daniel Furlong recently for West Brom. And Jaffet Tanganga. Not when they played on Wednesday against Millwall. The reverse. I think that was at the start of November. Yeah. So centre-backs have started scoring against Leeds. And I said it earlier as well, Tanganga and Jake Cooper, they had 3 shots between them. Millwall only had 4 shots. With this being at QPR, I think the most likely goal scorer would be somebody from a set piece. So I want to get both QPR centre-backs on side. Where we're heading to next, Steel City Derby.
Yeah, and then wait, do you have any more that aren't Prem?
Nope.
Steel City Derby is then? Oh.
Maybe. I might do. Do Steel City Derby and I'll decide, because I'm on the fence about these picks.
Yeah, okay, because I've got Steel City Derby and then just a few from the Prem. Do you have any from this? Presume you do. Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
So I've got 2 for this game. For those that don't know, Steel City Derby is Sheffield Wednesday versus Sheffield United. Up the Blades. I've gone, first one I got half a point at 13s. Peck and Windass Card. Peck's a local boy. He makes 2.19 tackles per 90, so it shows he gets stuck in. But I was a bit surprised. I was thinking the way people go on about him and what I've seen of him, he's a proper feisty little like he just gets stuck in. But he's only got 0.24 yellows per 90 and 1.02 fouls per 90. So those stats disappointed me when I looked thingy. But I just think I would never touch this price normally. I can't remember what price is single, but it's not that appealing. I would never touch it normally. But I just think he's a Sheffield United fan, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Well, we got him from Arsenal Academy, he gets the club. He knows what it's about.
He likes it, and I can just see him being a bit overzealous in the tackle. I think there's been a lot of chat about it. With our blaster injury, I think a lot of Owls fans are taking a piss out of that. Can't remember who it is injured for Wednesday. There's just been a lot of back and forth as you expect in Derby, and I think Peck will be the one tasked with sort of leaving one in early, and I think he'll be on a wind-up. And Windass, exact same. I think Windass will be their version of it. He's only got 6 yellows this season, but 3 have come in the last 4. Again, he's got a shit foul record. It's well below 1 per 90, but he's one he likes chirping up. And if there is a bit of aggro during the game, the handbags, a bit of needle, he'll be the first to the referee, and I think he'll be the first to get carded. It's such a stupid logic for a betting show, but I had like an envision of Peck just going through Windass Windass and then giving him a bit, and Windass standing up, giving him some, and they both get booked after like 20 minutes. I've just got a weird vision that Pep clatters Windass and he comes. I could make an unreal clip, by the way, if that actually happens. So I've got that one at 13s, that card double, half a point. Then I've got a point on Sheffield United to win and both teams to get a card at 3.36. So the win on its own is 2.8, which I think unbelievable price. I think is a lot of value in that. But obviously, on the show I like a 2-1 threshold. I like it bigger, so boosted the card each to 3.36. I know Wednesday at home, but I'm not having them as favourites. Blades are 26 points clear of their city rivals and are clearly the better team. Only Hull have a worse home record than Sheffield Wednesday this season, so I don't know why Sheffield Wednesday are favourites. So I'm happy to take them on with a Sheffield United win and both teams to get a card at 3.36.
No, that is lovely. Same thinking as you. Obviously, it's not big enough for a long shot show, but I can't work out why Sheffield United are the outsiders here. It's just muggy punting mantra, like, or a form goes out the window in a derby. You take the emotion out of it. You look at this game for what it is, and it's a title chasing side against a team destined for mid-table mediocrity, and the prices don't make sense. And as you said, you couple that with the fact that Wednesday are a better side away from home. Sheffield United are one of the best travellers in the division, and it just makes less and less sense. To shed some light on something you was referring to a minute ago was Ollie Arblaster did his ACL in the reverse. Travesty, boyhood blade, captain of the club, Wilder's son. And I don't think it was a tackle. I think it was just an innocuous turn. He went down and he got stretchered off. But recently...
Oh, is this Bannon's misses on Insulati? Yeah.
Bannon's misses and somebody else's misses. It might have been Josh Windass.
Yeah, I think it might be Windass.
They were on Facebook Live. Wednesday fans were spamming the comments, laughing at Arblaster basically. And both of them laughed. Sheffield, and then that did the rounds on Instagram. So if there's anybody who's going to get him back for that, the Wags and Bannon and co, it'd be his mate, Arblaster's mate, Sadie Peck.
I can imagine Peck and Arblaster. I don't know, but I can imagine they're like really good mates, like similar age. Did they both come through the academy? Oh, obviously, I know you said you signed Peck from Arsenal, but they would have been playing similar age groups, younger.
Yeah. Well, similar age. Yeah. Breaking into the team at a similar time, a lot in common. I don't know either of the boys personally.
They could hate each other, yeah.
Yeah, you would imagine that
Peck would be the one to. I can imagine Arblaster's like obviously sitting there with his ACL fucked. I can see Arblaster sort of hyping Peck up and like an excited puppy just going in and crunching someone, Bannon or Windass or someone like that.
Yeah, he is a rustler in chief, Sadie Peck. He's always got a lot to say on the pitch, and that's only going to bode well in a Sheffield derby for a card bet. I mentioned I might have one more EFL bet. I don't think I'm going to put it on the staking plan, but I'll just tell you about it in case you do. It's Mansfield v Barnsley. Barnsley have just got rid of Darryl Clark on Wednesday, so it'll be Conor Hourihane taking temporary charge.
We're getting so old now. We're getting so old now, Hourihane in charge.
Awful. But Barnsley have been way off it for a while. The recruitment is to blame. They've sort of had their rug pulled from under, and they had a cracking squad going back to when they almost got to the playoff final a few years ago under Valerian Ismail, and that's just been frittered away. They had the likes of Hellick and loads of good players, but they've moved them on. They're a selling club, and the recruitment's just not been quite at it. But one player, Kilo Dunn, who's an exception to that rule, they signed him from Mansfield, and he's been pretty good at Barnsley. He has, let me just pull it up now. It's not pulling up. He's Barnsley's top goal scorer. I think he's got 12 or 13 goals this season, and he's playing against his former employers. He's 3.2 to score any time, and 14-1 to score a brace, both with 365. Like I say, I was on the fence if to tip it. I'm not going to back it myself, so I can't, in good conscience, tip it on the show. But if you like the bit of narrative, he's a player in top form. There's been a managerial change. Mansfield, sort of middle of the road now. They're picked up recently. They've been unlucky to only get, I think, 3 draws from the last 3 games. But bit of narrative, goal scorer against his former employees. Mansfield were desperate not to let him go. But if you like the sound of that, it might be worth having. I just can't do it given Barnsley's managerial change and how shit they've been recently. But anyway, into the Premier League, you've got lots and lots for us here, haven't you?
Yeah, so in the early section, the STATSHUB Street, I've mentioned Enciso and Philogene, so I won't bore you with the stats, but I'll just rattle off the bets I've got for this game. I've got Enciso 3 shots and a shot on target 3.1. Enciso and Philogene shot on target each at 3.25. Then I've gone half a point on 2 shots on target each at 29. So that's from that game. I've already said the stats earlier. And then Man City, Brighton. I've already mentioned Minter's tackle stats. So I'm having Minter to have 3 tackles at 3s and 4 tackles at 6. Then I'm having Gonzalez card at 4.5. 27 centre-mids have been booked against Brighton this season, including 6 since the change of formation against Forest. Gonzalez averaged 0.43 yellows per 90 since joining. He had 2.2 fouls per 90 and 0.37 yellows per 90 in the Portuguese league last season. This season so far, and booked in 3 out of 6 starts in Europe. So he's a fiend for a card, and he's sort of still adjusting to the Prem. And I think he'll have a lot to do in midfield against Brighton. So 4.5 for the card. Doubled it with Belieber, half a point at 15. And then the last bet for this game, it's not biased, I swear to God. Like, I'm normally very pessimistic when it comes to Brighton, but I've gone Brighton win at 4.33. I was speaking to a couple of City fans as well, and they agree. I just think this game is just so perfectly suited for us. I mentioned we've changed formation style of play since Forest. We now, instead of patient possession, Hers has realised we've got a lot of pace and power in the side. So we sit back, counter. We've won 6 in a row. We beat Newcastle away, Chelsea twice, Bournemouth, Fulham, just playing this style of football. We're creating chances galore doing this. And when we beat them in reverse fixture, 1-0 down at half-time, Belieber came off the bench at half-time and changed the game, sort of bulldozed through the Man City midfield. If you compare, we'll probably line up with Rutter just off the striker, but he drops deep. Belieber, it'll probably be Gomez or Weaver, both powerful players. It'll probably be Belieber, Gomez and Rutter, midfield 3, with Pedro dropping deep as well. You've got 4 powerful runners with the ball and powerful players. City, I don't think they've got the physicality to match that. You've got Gonzalez, Bernardo and Kovacic will probably be the midfield 3, and none of them really have the legs. So I just think if the main worry for me is Doku and Savinho against our fullbacks. But if we can nullify that, and obviously Haaland, I just think in transition we'll have far too much for City, and I just think it's too big. We play better against better sides. I know it's not at home, but at home we've beaten City, United, Tottenham, Chelsea twice at home, and drew with Arsenal at home. So we're unbeaten against the big 6 at home. We got battered by Chelsea early in the season away because Herzl was playing his high line, stupid football. Liverpool, we just got edged out 2-1 after leading for most of the game. We drew at Arsenal, beat United away, so we're better against the big 6, and yeah, it's just perfect suited. The onus is on City to attack us, and I can see us hitting them on the counter. So I'm putting my chest on the line. 4.33 for Brighton to beat City away.
Oh, I like that pick a lot. I forgot one from the EFL, so I've got 2 bets left. I'll just quickly rattle through them. Jude Bellingham, Coventry against Sunderland. I always do this bet. Sunderland are away from home. Have Jude Bellingham to beat carded. 4-2 bet 365. Job. sorry, Joe Bellingham. All bar one of his cards this season have come on the road. So yeah, I don't know why he just loves it away from home. And then it's a bit of a pun. Chris Wood's 8-1 to score a brace at Ipswich. He's got 18 goals this season. Forest are flat track bullies. Great prize to win in the 1x2, and I just want to get their main man on side to get a couple of goals, because I think Ipswich have lost the last 4 at home in the league. They've conceded something daft. What is it off the top? I think it's 18 or 14 goals. So I expect Forest to win quite comfortably. So makes sense, just get their talisman and penalty taker to net a brace at 8-1 with 365. Lovely. Right, that's it for that section.
Keep punting! Keep fucking punting! YTP, baby!
Long shots. We've got loads of long shots tucked up in the last section, but we've combined this week for a pod bet. Last one, we got some return. It was a bit of a silly one, but we managed to get most of our money back. So we're doing another Yankee 1x2 this time. I've got 2 teams. Matthew's got 2. But we both love all of them. We love each other's selections. It just makes a lot of sense. You can get it at 85 0.65 with William Hill, so 85 to 1-ish. I'm doing Forest and Reading. I just talked about Forest in the Chris Wood section. They are cracking. I think they've played bottom half teams 12 times. They've not lost. They've won 11, and I think they've won 6 on the road of those games, all 6. They had a bit of a wobble, but they're back to their best now. And if they are serious about top 4, this is a game they need to be winning. I've also done Reading. They host Stevenage, and we're getting to that stage in the season where some teams are on the beach, some teams have got a lot to play for, and I think Stevenage are one of the first on the beach. Credit to Ravel. He's done a cracking job at getting them safe. Terrible budget, not the best squad, no disrespect, but they are punching well above their weight. So they are another season in League One. Reading, despite all odds, losing their manager, all the issues off the field, they are well amongst a chance for a top 6 finish. And their price, I think you can get it around 2.5 for a single. Looks a cracking bet, and they've been in great form recently. So yeah, Reading and Forest, my 2 picks. Who have you got?
Yeah, I've got the 2 longer odds for the ones I mentioned earlier. Brighton at 4.33 away at City, and Wrexham at 3.6 away at Wycombe.
Lovely stuff. So we're having 1.1 of a point on that. Yankee returns if 2 or more come in. So yeah, something to cheer on. And I think they all kick off Saturday 3 o'clock, don't they?
Yeah, so it's not like spread out like it was before. Yeah, all 3 o'clock.
So hopefully it'll all be done and dusted, and we'll be a bag or two of sandwich come 5 o'clock Saturday evening. Right, I think that's all the bets. So before we go, Matthew, can you just recap your selections for this week?
Yeah, so on the new STATSHUB section, we've got a Trixie point on total. I've gone for Rutter 2 tackles, Minter 3 tackles in Brighton City, and Enciso 2 shots on target and Philogene shot on target Ipswich. Forest, Jim's gone for Edwards and Dunn shot in QPR Leeds. It's about 213s for the Trixie. So we've got that. Then in non-league, I've gone Altringham to beat Aldershot and both teams score at 3.6. Tamworth to beat Dagenham, both teams score at 5.5. Then I've gone Pearce to score and a Brace, 3.1 to score, and Brace at 15's half point on that. That's Yeovil York. Moving into the EFL, I've got Wrexham to beat Wycombe at 3.6. Over 1 second half card each in Derby Plymouth at 5.5 for a point. Over 2 second half card each Derby Plymouth at 29's, quarter of a point. And over 3 second half card each Derby Plymouth at 200. That's 0.25 of a point. Still City Derby, Wednesday United, Peckham Windass card 13 to 1, 0.5 points. Sheffield United win and both teams to be carded at 3.36. Then Ipswich Forest, I've got Enciso 3 shots and shot on target 3.1. Enciso and Philogene shot on target each at 3.25. Enciso and Philogene 2 shot on target each at 29. That's half a point. Then Brighton City, I've got Minter 3 tackles at 3s and 4 tackles at 6. Gonzalo's card at 4.5 and Gonzalo Baliba at 15 is half a point on the double. And finally, I've got Brighton to win at 4.33.
Lovely stuff. In the Championship, QPR v Leeds, 12:30 Saturday. I'm having Leeds to win from behind, 10 to 1. Bet Victor, point on that. Same game, Ronnie Edwards, 2 shots, 8 to 1, 365, point on that. Ronnie Edwards to score anytime, 40 to 1. Sky Bet. Jimmy Dunn to score anytime, 16 to 1. Sky Bet, half a point on each of those. And then Coventry v Sunderland, Bellingham card, 4 to 1, 365. And I'm also having a point on Chris Wood brace in Ipswich games against Forest. That's at 8 to 1. With Bet365, and then the pod bet, it's a Yankee, 4 teams, Brighton to beat Man City, Forest to win at Ipswich, Wrexham to win at Wycombe, and Reading to beat Stevenage at home. That's at 85.65 with William Hill. I'm having 1.1 point across the Yankee in total. Right, that's everything. Matthew, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure as always.
Lovely stuff. And I was just having a quick look. There's no midweek football. Not enough for us to come back. So we'll be back similar time next Thursday. Thank God. Yeah, the midweek off. So best of luck with all your picks. And we'll catch you on the Flippity Flip.